Hello friends, welcome back to episode 4 of season 2, Noobs in Disguise. As always, I'm joined by Lambo. We have a phenomenal game here, a Zerg versus Terran on the European server. And it's going to be our goal to figure out what the MMR is of our player here in the bottom left called Mate, or Matt E. It's like electronic Matt, but he put the E in the wrong position. It's also possible.
Is there a T called something mate?
Yeah, but you need a... Is it called an accent? You know, the little poof
Accent.
accent. Yeah, one of the on the E, I think.
I see.
Like one of the sides. I don't know because there's two different ones. You have the one to the left that goes from like top to bottom, and the one from bottom to top. I'm pretty sure one of the two has to be on the E there in order for it to be the mate. I'm also not sure if that's with double T. So I think this is just electronic mat. So
Okay.
Matt Electronics opening up with, so far, a build order.
A build order. But don't get too excited because the Terran scouted way too early. You don't need to scout this early for anything if you're Terran. I mean, he plays CC first, so I take it back. He scouts so early, I guess he wasn't time to see the hatchery to then not go for CC first. Which is wildly safe, and then you probably lose the advantage of going CC first to begin with, but he's also proxying something. So this is already very interesting.
What's the chance he proxies a CC? Flies it over, makes it a planetary.
Very low, because they don't do anything against... There's creep, so you can't go close enough to do anything.
2 base container.
If he actually takes a ninja base, this would be probably the second best ninja base to take, though. Because I don't think you scout this for a while.
What would be the best?
I think very top left.
The
exact opposite side.
Yeah, because that is technically a somewhat viable fort base. If you
So you can expand toward it.
Yeah, exactly. Which would be sick. I feel like in general, proxy bases are underrated right now. I feel like
For sure.
it's one of these things that you don't see almost ever. And I still think it has some value, especially in mirror matchups. I think it's very underrated there, particularly PvP. I think it would be sick. Most of the time, I have no clue what's going on in the matchup. And in a proxy nexus, it would be even harder to figure out what's kicking off.
Yeah, I can see that. How often do you discover proxy CCs in TVP?
None.
If
Never.
you're being honest here.
Not a single time. Yeah. But I am very familiar with barracks timing, so don't get anything weird in your head here, Terran players. I know them all right? I know exactly when that stuff happens. So I know when something is wrong. There used to be, Daishi, the Terran player from France. He used to sometimes proxy his first command center. That was also quite tricky to fight against until you found it, and then it was very tricky for him to play from there. Because he did it a bit too often, like once every best of 3.
That is not a bit too often, that is way too often.
Yeah. It's just like hosting a surprise party every week on Saturday. All right, what do we have over here? On the Terran side, it's going to be a bunker on the low ground, factory pumping Hellions, and a 3-Rex as a follow-up. So that SCV just stood there in the corner and then went home?
Yeah, pretty much. Didn't do anything. He checked, I guess, the third base. I think he follow-up scouted. He checked for the third to make sure that it's not an all-in. This guy is a super safe player. Like, this is stuff that gains you MMR, these moves. Especially at a slightly lower level. And his build order, I can tell you this is not a professional build. So he made it himself, but he's very good at spending his money so far, and he's not running into too many supply blocks. So I think he's doing a good job. And the Zerg has his queen split in 3 and 1, which is not usually how I would split my queens, but I'm very happy that he has them split at all. Pretty advanced stuff.
That is indeed pretty advanced. It's nice, and now another queen moves over to the lonely solo queen. Yeah, this isn't so bad, and it is a very safe build order into a very all-in build order, because we have an armory now coming up behind this. It's going to be stim. What, 6, 7 Hellbats? 2 medevacs, and send it, no?
Yeah, you can even make one more from the factory without an add-on. It doesn't look like a weak timing at all. He's gonna hit at like 6 minutes. He has the money for a third CC, so I would like to see that. Third CC, double gas, double eBay as a follow-up. So it's a very committed pressure. He even makes it on location.
High tier.
Oh, he's going mech? No, right?
Nah, he forgot his first. He forgot
He
that
forgot.
he
He
got
forgot
armor.
that he made an army. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Nah.
Surely.
Now double gas. No e-base. If this is a hybrid player, that would be sick.
No way. No way.
This would make my day.
But if it's hybrid, you would just make one army and then also e-base it.
Would you start the upgrades early?
Yes.
Yeah, probably. All right. Gonna scan for this creep. He's still not revealing his hand right now. Got it cars close to his chest. Here come the Marines. Here come the medevacs. That's a lot of queens. Spore being moved forward. That's a high tier move too. Turning into Hellbats right now. Here comes the stim. Is that Overlord going down? Yes, it is. Banelings need to roll in. What's their target here? Marines or Hellbats?
Preferably the Hellbats with the Banelings. Try to get on top of the Marines with the Zerglings, which is what he tried to do. And the Spore Core is doing a great job at zoning out the medevac. If he clicks it once, it dies. He realized a little bit too late, but he had so many units that it wasn't an issue. You can now see the macro mistakes, that this is not the absolute highest level, because A, the Zerg was on 49 drones, which there is absolutely no excuse for. You can hold any Hellbat push, and any 3 Rex. I mean, he obviously scouted 3 Rex, so he thought this was committed. I guess he thought something would hit earlier, but look at the amount of Zerglings that he has. This should have been drones for sure. Because that means now the Terran is actually ahead in economy, which really isn't supposed to happen if you do a failed Hellbat attack that doesn't kill a single worker.
True. Yeah. Gonna get another stim here. These are 0-0 units versus 0-0 units. Neither player any upgrades here. The double armory indeed is not going to be used, as we do have the double E-base. Terran ahead by, well, by at least a little bit. There's still a bunch of cash in the bank though for the Zerg that can be utilized, either for maybe a 5th hatch or for drones. Is there enough larva? Not really. It's probably just going to need to inject a bunch and get a macro hatch or really just a 5th base. Continues into melee upgrades. Skirmishes has 3 evos? 4 evos. Okay.
Yeah, so he did the same. He thought he already had 2 evos, and then he didn't have 2 evos and made another 2. Do you think this Terran will start combat shields? Because I feel like he could have had combat shields even almost for this push. But by now he could have had it for sure.
Yeah, I think he might have forgotten about the existence of combat shields for a little bit. Which is so weird to me, because combat shield is one of these upgrades that is such a clear visual indicator, right?
I'm not gonna lie, I forget it all the time as well.
Really?
Yeah. It's the upgrade I forget the most often when I play Terran.
That's wild. But not for a long time. Like, at some point you realize that it's not there, right?
I have played 20-minute games without combat shields.
Really? That's so wild. To me, it's probably the biggest visual... It is, yeah, one of the biggest visual indicators of upgrades in the entire game. Maybe link speed, because also they're so slow. It's very difficult to miss that.
What about Baneling speed?
Also a large... Okay, maybe there's a couple more big ones.
Roach Burrow movement.
No, combat shield is bigger. What?
No, what?
Definitely.
Are you mad? There's spikes on the back. I know instantly if I see a Roach with Burrow movement that there's Burrow movement.
Well, I instantly know it with a combat shield with Marina as well. It's not even close. And with the roaches, sometimes with some of the skins, I'm not entirely sure.
There's only one. Yeah, there's one skin where I'll give you that. It's hard to tell, but with a default skin, it's easier to see.
Yeah, that's true.
Burrow movement and combat shields.
Yeah, that's not the latter
Like
experience of the average Noobs in Disguise enjoyer, though. They all play against the skins.
I guess so, yeah. I guess so. There's a couple of Zergs that always use, specifically the Roach skin. Nurture tried to always abuse skins. I think Bly does it as well.
Yeah.
There's also, I think Skillus just has the cybernetic score skin, so I can't tell when he starts the warp gate research, which I find mad. As there's some multitasking going on here.
Yeah.
Specular being a little bit supply block because there's action happening, but he's doing well at microing. He's doing okay at microing the Marines at both sides.
I don't think I've seen birds being eaten quicker than those.
Yeah.
yeah. Get hungry all of a sudden there. Back in, boys. It's gonna lose all of these Marines instantly. But his supply block got cured, not by losing the units, but because depots actually finished, or because he threw... no, he didn't throw any. So there's no, double depots here. Just a single one, but that was from earlier in the game. 4th base is about to finish up as well. Big run by being set up as a sensor tower at the 3rd base is going to spot that. At the same time, the 4th base spots that. So overall, I think this is a fairly high-level game. So there's a lot of mines in this push. Holy crap. What is that, like 10? 12?
Yeah, and they're all clamped up as well, which is absolutely not how you're supposed to use mines. If I see that, I try to just run in there with the banelings. Usually I always favor the Zerg in this scenario, because it's more difficult for the Terran to micro on both sides, but the Zerg lost all of his banelings at home, which gives away this advantage basically entirely. Although he did kill most of the Widow Mines. Why is he going back on the other side? Okay, he keeps a couple of Zerglings there. Now retreats with most of his Banelings and his Hydras.
The Baneling nest got kept alive, by the way. He started targeting it halfway. I feel like taking that out would have been such a huge move, because fighting Marines versus Ling Hydra is a great trait for the Marines. There's still a couple of Banes in this army. Do we get any target fire? No, none at all, but Marines still holding strong somewhat. 1-1 versus 1-1. Hydras will clean this up. There's still a force, though, in the top left. There's a lot of production on the Terran side as well. Still on 3 base. As long as that third CC doesn't just burn down, this is maybe still playable?
It might still be playable. He also never started 2-2, which is huge. There's also a lot of production still for the Zerg, because he has 3 hatcheries in his main base. Ooh. So definitely a Dark Enjoy there.
Yeah, advanced move. Hive. It's an interesting priority here, but I guess.
I would have much... In this situation, if you're floating gas, like I can understand him starting Hive, but the one thing that nowadays is much better is starting Couple and Faster, because you don't even need to wait for the upgrade anymore.
Oh. I like that. What about a Muta transition at this point? Sorry.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that. So don't make fun of our viewers, please.
Interesting push here, as we have this is being pushed back by just the Marines and Marauders. It's a wild moment to attack as well, because you should know, well, it's not actually outmining his opponent right now. Mules are a very powerful tool, of course. Another Ling run by being set up. This is quite high level stuff. Looks good. Yep. Response out of the Terran, not super fast, but still within what is acceptable, I'd say. Like micro some units back. Micro on the other side, not great, as mines aren't there either. Banes don't get as many connections as I thought. Lambo, is it happening?
I think it's very close at the very least. So the Terran doesn't keep pushing. He obviously didn't know that there weren't any Banelings left over. He also dealt with the Zergling run by on his side of the map. The longer this goes, the better it is for the Zerg. If he starts any amount of lurkers, I think the Terran is kind of dead, because 1-1 bio Marine Marauder against 2-2 lurkers, or just +2 armor lurkers, does not usually go too well for the Terran. And it's also the perfect unit to sink your gas into. He can use all of his Zerglings on a counterattack, just stay at home with the lurkers, which fits his playstyle, the way he's been playing so far, quite well, I think. So he's morphing the 6 lurkers right away. They are out of position for where the Terran is pushing toward, though.
Look at the creep threat, by the way. It's also not half bad. Like, It's been a fairly active game. Still no fort base for the Terran player after that one got cancelled. He's gonna fly over his orbital command. Get another scan here. Lots of Marauders. Hasn't rebuilt any mines ever since the incident. He's gonna pick up everything. There's no Vipers here, right? Oh.
Yeah, the Terran transitioned into tank production, because he knew... Yeah, he's playing against Hydras. I don't think he saw the lurkers up until just now, but yeah, he already transitioned to tanks. He's now... I think he thought of dropping on top of that. You can absolutely not do that. But there's no anti-air here, so there's no punishment for it.
Yeah, but now 11 Hydra starts. Seismic is about to finish up. Adrenal Glands is about to finish up. This is not looking as brilliant for the Terran as it once did. It's also being outmined pretty severely, to be honest.
Yeah. I think the Terran kind of missed his timing here, but maybe he can make some magic happen. The Zerg is engaging here without most of his army. Their 2-2 Ling Bane trades so well against the bio that is just down in upgrades. 3 lurkers to the right side, barely participating in the fight, but now that the Terran actually runs into them, they're more than good enough to fight back the Terran army, and no GG was called.
Hate to see it.
The game ended.
Yeah, hate to see it. Terran, a little bit sloppy micro here. Not entirely brilliant. Lambo. My favorite portion.
Yeah, my favorite portion as well.
Is the guessing.
It is my turn to start this time. I was suggesting that for next time, from now on, we actually write down the guesses beforehand, so we don't influence each other, because then I think we see even wider differences between our guesses, which I think is fun for the viewers.
Yeah.
But for now, I will go first, because you went first twice already. I only went once. I do think this is it is Masters League for sure. Let me get up my asset to.
This is the master spreadsheet.
Yeah. I have it favorited, but I have too many pages favorited, so I can't. This was Europe, right?
Yeah, it's Europe. It's definitely Europe.
So yeah, I think this was definitely Masters. I don't think this is Grandmaster or anything close. They were decent. A lot of what they did made sense. The moment things started to go down, though, their macros slipped up a little bit. Multitasking wasn't quite there yet. I think this was just solidly in Masters League. I'm gonna go for 4,501 MMR.
4,501.
Which is Masters 3.
Yeah. I decided that this is also Master League. 4,358, which I think is still Masters League, right?
4,358?
Yeah.
It says it's Diamond 1.
Well,
so.
then this is Diamond 1. This felt more like a 4.3k play to me. The lack of micro is truly what drove it home as it's not a Masters player. It just didn't feel like it. Let's see what it is.
What? You just said it's like a Masters player. You just don't
Yeah,
know
it's like a
MMR
Masters player.
You're
We're
capping
rewriting
so hard.
history as we go along.
You can literally go 2 sentences back and you're contradicting yourself.
I never struggled with it in my life before. And boy, am I glad, because the submitter was Zatic, our Zerg player, at 4,112 MMR. And it means that this week I win Lambo.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, that looked quite good.
Yeah, it was, but the lack of micro. You should have known this wasn't Masters. Diamond at best. Clear as day. I don't think anyone would fall for this.
We both wanted to guess.
Yeah.
We both wanted to guess Masters 3. Don't even try to fool anyone here.
Debatable. All right, that's going to be it for us today. If you too have a replay, be sure to send it to harambose2@gmail.com, as we need more replays always. And perhaps next week it will be your turn to be guessed what it is to be looked at and then guessed. You know what I mean. Thank you for watching this episode of Noobs in the Skies, and see you next week. Ciao, ciao.